Good morning. This is Val Adams. I am doing the second video in a series that is on my fan page in regards to some viral marketing strategies, some tips to help you guys as it relates to LinkedIn. One of the things that's really, really important is if you're um, trying to use social media in order to grow your business presence and to create some branding for yourself, you do want to be unilateral. So be very careful with only homing in on just one social media channel. You want to be unilateral so that you can really take advantage of the traffic flow that can come from all sources there. So, with that being said, a couple of things that we're going to focus on today, and I'm really going to try to keep this video down to at least 15 minutes. But I've got some great questions, so I do want to try to get these questions answered. Thank you guys so very much for sending me your questions. It's exciting because you guys have some really wonderful questions. So I want to deal with those, and also I want to pick up with where we left off at the first video, and we're going to talk a little bit more today about engagement as it applies to LinkedIn. Now, before we go there, I do want to recap on 2 points that were very important from the first video, which is to make sure that before you begin your efforts to grow your connections in LinkedIn, make sure that you really nail down your profile and make it as strong as possible. Try to load your profile also with your business links. That's really important. But then also, you want to give people the links so that they can find you on the other social media channels. So that's real important. Now, when you come to the portion of your profile where you're actually building, and this is a question, where you're actually building out the section where people can actually give you endorsements. So we're talking about the skills section. Very good questions that came in and relates to this, and I want to talk about that for just a few moments. You can customize what appears under your skills. So do give it a little bit of time. Take your time doing this. Think about things that you're not only doing in our sector with internet marketing and network marketing, but also think about projects that you've perhaps worked on with people. Think about previous employment and things that you've done there, okay? Because a lot of times, what we fail to realize is that your profile should really give people a large picture of what you have done as a whole, okay? So don't be shy. Do add information that's relevant to other things that you've worked on as well. Now, when you are creating these items that show on skills, you will have the ability that some will auto populate. For example, the first one that you see on mine is lead generation. And you're also going to have it so that as you're typing, if you have something that's really specific, you can type that in to add your own category under skills. Okay, so there's lots of flexibility there. Try to only home it down to things that you've actually really worked on. That's really, really important because the purpose of this section, as far as your LinkedIn profile, is that you want to give people a non salesy way of being able to see ways that you can interact with them, ways that you can share expertise and help them to be able to build their business. Okay, so that's really, really important there. Now, getting past profile, we're going to talk about once again connections, and it is the same as what we're doing with Facebook, is that we do use a different terminology. So when people send us a friend request in Facebook, the equivalent term in LinkedIn would be connections. Okay, so when we advertise and when we market, when we are posting comments in groups and communities, it's visible by, of course, the public if your profile is set up that way, but then it's also something that's visible by your connections. Okay, so that's a real important aspect. On my screen, as you can see here, what my connections look like. There's two numbers there. The top number signifies people that you have a direct connect with, okay? And then the bottom number shows how many professionals are in your network directly, okay? So when you do a post, when you're engaging, when you're working throughout LinkedIn, everything that you're doing is going to be visible by those two, okay? Now, I do apologize. I know some of this is a little bit, repetitious. Repetition is very, very key, but it's going to feed us into where we pick up with this lesson compared to where we left off with video number 1. So I want to talk a little bit about your engagement. So I'm going to go over to the our message center. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to home for just a second. Okay, and I want to bring something to your attention. When you have basically taken the time in order to get your profile completely together, you're ready to then start growing your connections. Now, if you have already established a LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn is basically going to start recommending people that you possibly know, okay? So you can always send people connection requests. One of the things that I like to do is I use Facebook, I use my email, I use some of the list exchanges that I send emails out through, and also Twitter in order to feedback, plus Google Plus in order to feedback to my LinkedIn profile. What that does is, number one, it saves me a lot of time. But then two, it helps me to be growing my connections and my network on a daily basis. We want it to look very similar to Facebook in that we're getting friend requests on a daily basis. Okay. Now, is there a number? This is a question that came in. Is there a number that we're shooting for? Not necessarily. You're in good shape and you're consistent if you're at least getting 15 to 25 connection requests per day. Okay. Now, if you've already established a LinkedIn profile, then LinkedIn will recommend people that you possibly know. If you hit see more, like here on my screen, you'll see additional people come up. And then at that point, you can send connection requests with people that you want to be able to interact with. Okay. So that's real important there. So that's one way of growing your network. Okay. The next way of growing your network is if you click on connections and then you go to add connections, then it's going to bring you to a screen that can feed directly from whatever email that you're already using. Now, this is something that you can do in two occasions. You can do it in order to merge people that you communicate with on email into your LinkedIn network so that you've got more than just one way to be able to communicate with prospects. And also business partners, okay? Certainly that's one thing that can help you to develop that unilateral effect. Second is that you can link it to whether you're using Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, it really doesn't matter. You can use this in order to, you've now developed your LinkedIn profile now to grab people who are already in your contacts, your address book, and your email so that they're now a part of your network within LinkedIn. Now, this process is really quick. It probably takes only about 2 or 3 minutes. And you basically just put your email address in and then you hit continue. And it's going to go out and it's going to basically ask for your permission. Can we access your email? And then once you give that permission, it's going to send an automatic invitation to all of the people that it finds in your address book. Okay, so this is one way to be able to grow your LinkedIn. Okay, now next is that you have certainly been in touch with people that you have worked with, that you have gone to school with. That's what the keep in touch is. That was a good question that came in. This is something that you can do as well. Okay, this will also help you to, grow your connections. Okay. And then next is that I want to talk to you a little bit about once you've started growing connections, meaning people are sending you contact requests, you have sent some to others, you do want to reach out and you want to engage with those individuals. That's really important, okay? So, for example, I am going to click here and I'm going to go over to my messages, okay? And what you could do is you can open a Microsoft Word document where you keep the correspondence that you can literally just copy and paste over to individuals. That's one way of doing it so that it's nice and quick. Or if your network is really not that large, you can just kind of just type it in as you are accepting people's connection requests. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is, here there's two sections: messages and your invitations. Certainly you want to respond to people who have sent messages to you, okay, and you can see some of the examples there. And then people who have sent you an invitation, okay, this is also people that you want to acknowledge as well. Now, a system that you can put in place in order to do so, like for example, here's a new connection request. You've got the ability that when you accept that person, it will confirm that they are now a part of your network, and it will ask if you want to start a conversation with them. If you click on start a conversation, then it will actually put you into a new message. So what you could do is, in a Microsoft Word document, you can simply put something together that you can copy and paste. Thank you for the connection. Okay, so there's something, and I'm just going to, and again, this is something that I have pre-typed, but I'm just going to copy it and paste it into this message. Okay, now if you notice, there's a couple of links that are in this message. Okay, and we're going to go over that in just a minute. So the first line, I'm going to take out of the body, put it into the subject, and I'm going to use his first name, Gary. Good to see you here. Thank you so much for connecting with me on LinkedIn. I so appreciate networking with like-minded people. Please feel free to connect with me on Facebook. My Facebook fan page is, and my Facebook group community page is, blah, blah, blah. And then at the bottom, my closing is really simple. I've built a community in Facebook for all of us to unite, share ideas, network. Here at this group, you can network and get some free marketing gifts in the file section, okay? So, with that being said, we're going to hit send, and then we're done. And you do want to do that for each time that you have accepted someone's connection request, so that you address that you have accepted it, but then also so that you thank them and you give them another channel, another method to be able to see your work, to get to know you so that they like and trust you. And this will help you to have much higher conversions in bringing people into your business. Okay? Guys, I hope that you've enjoyed. I really tried to do a good job at keeping this under 15 minutes. Yay, I did so. And please stay tuned to my fan page, Better Beginnings, where new video trainings will be coming soon.